Hello again. Thank you for watching Chittarupa Yoga and Fitness. I'm Laura Wilson, and I teach you ways to modify exercises so that everybody can work out. Today, I'm going to focus on yoga for beginners. So we're going to look at some very basic poses that you will encounter in pretty much every yoga class you will ever take. I'm going to be offering lots of cues on how to do those poses. We're going to do a full yoga class in a shorter period of time than the normal class at a studio. And for those of you who are more experienced, you can actually benefit from the extra cues that are going to be added in today. Those of you who are new, just so that you know, we are going to begin standing. We're going to do all of our standing stuff first. Then we're going to move to the floor. So if you don't like to get on the floor, you can at least still do the first part of the class standing. All right? Find yourself a nice sticky mat or a non-slick surface to be practicing on. In yoga, we generally do barefoot so that we work on those muscles of our feet. But you do this any way that works for you as long as you are safe. While you're getting ready, getting your mat and everything else set up, just a reminder to subscribe to the channel, and there is a nifty little icon in the lower right corner that you can just click on and subscribe. Give the video a thumbs up, and be sure to leave me some comments below. Let me know what you think of yoga for beginners, and if you want more videos like this. I can always do more. You just gotta let me know what you want to do. So let's begin in mountain pose. Basic pose, Tadasana. And for mountain, we want to separate our feet out hip distance, which is about the distance of one of our own feet. And we want to begin grounding our feet, getting our weight even on both of them. And then just begin to stack our knees over our ankles, hips over our knees, shoulders over our hips. And then drawing our shoulder blades back and toward our hips, and just bringing our chin parallel to the floor. So we'll begin here in a nice solid mountain pose, closing our eyes. And we just want to take a few deep breaths into our belly. For yoga, we want to breathe through our nose as much as possible. If we have allergies or other things going on, we might have to breathe through our mouth. The key is that we're breathing. And we also want to take an assessment at the beginning, just to see how our body's feeling. And remember, as we do yoga and begin to move, we want to listen to our body and let our body be our guide. So let's just begin to soften in our knees, just a little bit. And we're going to inhale up, exhale into a half forward fold. And let's begin to breathe here. Inhale up, exhale, half forward fold. So moving with our own breath. A lot of people like to go at the pace I go at, but you go at your own pace. So we're going to change this up to a full forward fold, or Uttanasana. And we're going to do this 3 times, all the way up, all the way down. Inhale, exhale. Slight bend in our knees. And let's go ahead and take this to that full forward fold. Notice that we're not locking out our knees. A lot of people say keep your knees straight, but you always want to keep a slight bend. Reaching the floor or touching some part of our leg. Or some people like to just hang onto their elbows and swing here. But let's make our way back up. And we're going to look at our Utkatasana, or chair pose. I prefer the literal translation of powerful pose. So let's shift our hips back. We want to start at the hips. A lot of people start at their knees, but you want to start with your hips first, then bend your knees, if you go that far at all. I'm going to stay kind of in the middle, lifting our heart. And we can keep our hands here if we need support here, since we are beginners. But we can also bring our hands to our heart or forward for those of you who are just watching this for those extra cues. I'm going to go in the middle. This is what feels best for me today. Let's flow a little bit here. Inhaling up, exhale. Sit the hips first. Inhale up, exhale, sit your hips back. and we'll just move our arms a bit, warming them up. I always like to start with a bit of flow work to get our body warmed up. So let's come back here, and we're going to pretend to do some push-ups. Since we're staying up first, we're going to find that Chaturanga, or 4-limb staff pose. Let's exhale, push it out. Inhale, come in and squeeze our ribs. Exhale out, inhale in. So we might be breathing through our mouth now, because we should be warming up a bit here. All right, let's bring this in, shake it out, and we'll come back to our mountain. If you have a mat out, let's step up to the top edge of our mat, because we're going to slide 1 foot back for a warrior 1 pose, Virabhadrasana, Eka. So for the most part, we're going to have our heels lined up down the mat, but for balance purposes, we may keep our feet separated hip distance this way. Either way that we do this, we want our weight even on both feet, front knee lunged over the ankle, back heel opened to the corner of our mat or room, and we want to follow that leg. A lot of people will tell you to square up, and I've got a link to a video all about Warrior 1 in the description below, so you can learn more details about this. But you actually, if you notice, that's a strain on your hip, so follow the back leg, back foot, so our body is oriented to that corner. Traditionally, we'll keep our hands overhead, but we can keep them at our heart or even at our hips or down, depending on how our shoulders are feeling today. I'll go overhead this time. So this is our Virabhadrasana Eka, or Warrior 1. We're going to bring our hands to our hips, straightening out our front leg. Let's come halfway forward, drawing this front hip back, back hip forward. So this is our pyramid pose. We can take this further as we're feeling it. If we have blocks, we can actually use it. I love using a block right here. But we can also use our own body as a prop. Feeling a stretch to the back of this leg. Slight bend in the knee. We can straighten that out a bit more, but just don't lock it. And let's come back up to that warrior. So we're going to lunge again. We don't want the knee going past the toes. We want it right over our ankle, lining up with our back leg. Arms wherever it feels right. We can even add a little chest opener here if we want. So let's bring our hands back to our hips. We're going to straighten that front leg again, and let's just come halfway forward. We're going to look at our triangle, or trikonasana. So let's come halfway forward. If you happen to be in a place where there's a mirror and you could look and see if your spine is parallel to the floor, awesome. But if not, just kind of gauge. And for the best alignment, we want to take our same side hand just wherever it naturally lands on our leg, and we want to focus on the shoulder. So start by bringing our hand here. Let's turn our feet out, and we're going to lift our shoulder up. So we're looking at the lining of our shoulders, not so much our hands, because we have a tendency to reach way back, and we want to make sure that we can still see our hand out of the side of our eye. So if it's back so far you can't see your hand, bring it to where you can see it. There it is. I like to leave mine here so that I'm focused on moving shoulders. Let's unwind, and we'll come fully forward into that pyramid again. Hands wherever it feels right. Let's make our way up to the Warrior 1. And our mountain. So walk around a little bit. Notice how that one leg is feeling. Always get some water whenever you feel like you need it. And we'll find mountain again at the top edge of our mat. You can stay at the same end. I'm just doing this so that you can see. Let's slide the other foot back. And again, keeping that hip distance here if we need it. Lining up our heels if that feels okay. Weight even, back foot open to the corner, body following that alignment to the corner, front knee over the ankle. So as we're holding our poses, we want to breathe. So just like in our mountain, we should be able to take deep breaths right here. Any arms. Now let's go ahead and bring hands to our hips. We'll straighten that front leg and just begin to walk down, finding that hinge at our hip, not locking out the knee. And of course, some of us may have it more bent. Depends on our hamstrings. Again, we're stretching the back of the leg here. So we may be tight, we may have more of a bend, but don't lock it. We can keep it fairly straight without locking it. And this kind of thing changes day to day. The tightness, the time of day can affect it. So just be aware of all that. Listening to our body. We can always take this a little higher, adjusting it as we need to. Let's go ahead and come back to the warrior. Knee over the ankle, orienting to the back foot. And let's look at that Trikonasana or triangle pose on this side. Straightening up, coming halfway forward. Again, seeing if we can get parallel to the floor. Same side hand swinging down, just wherever it naturally lands. Let's turn the back toes out a little bit and focus on that movement of the shoulder. Remember, you can be a little higher if you want, lifting that shoulder up to the ceiling. And then if you want to, take the hand, but make sure you can see it out of the side of your eye. Well, it's better if your shoulder comes here, your arm is going to be a little more forward. Don't reach it back, that strains our shoulder. Again, I prefer to keep my hand down so that I can focus on that movement of the shoulder. And let's unwind and fold forward again. Pyramid pose. I think it's partial Tadasana. Let's bring it back up, Virabhadrasana. And Tadasana, mountain pose. So walk around again, give this leg a chance to loosen up. So those are some basic poses you'll probably do in just about every class you take. We're also going to look at a balance pose now called tree or Rikshasana. This is a good one to get near a wall just in case. We're going to be standing on one leg. And as the name implies, we're going to be making like a tree. So let's shift our weight over to one foot. We want to think about keeping that alignment, belly scooping in and up, shoulders back and down. It also helps to find something that's not moving to stare at. Turning this knee way out. This is a hip opener pose. So we can stay here with our toes down, hands wherever we need them for our own balance. Ultimately, we like to try to lift up and bring our hands overhead like we're lifting up like a tree. We can bring our foot to our calf, somewhere below our knee. We never want to place on our knee because that'll strain that standing leg. Some people can make it to their thigh above the knee. Oops, maybe not today. I'll stay here. So again, don't do what I'm doing. Some days we're better balanced than others. All right, let's bring that down. Shake out that standing leg. So now we're going to shift over to the other leg. Again, keep it tall. Think lifting up. A tree lifts up to the sun. Let's turn our knee out. And again, we can keep our toes down for this. We can be near a wall where we can hold on. Let's take our foot perhaps to our calf. Just don't place it on the knee. Put it below. Or let's see how it does on this side. Oh, nope. All right, so just do your best. And if you come out of it, just get back into it the same way. All right, let's release that, shake it out, get some water. And as promised, we're done with the standing portion now. We're going to come to the floor. So I will let you get there any way that you want to. We're just going to come to an easy seat. So this is another one you're going to do in every class. I know it. Sukhasana, easy seated pose. Now the key thing here is we always want to think about our base in our poses. When we're standing, that's our feet. Now that we're sitting, that is our bottoms or sit bones. If you rock a little bit, you can feel those bony protrusions, ischial tuberosities that are right there at your pelvic bone. Find those, get both of them even on the floor. For easy seat, we have one foot in front of the other. Now let's just begin to stack from here. So let's think about our vertebra this time. If our shoulders are over our hips, we can lengthen and get our vertebra stacked. And that means parallel chin so that those vertebrae in our neck are aligned as well. So let's close our eyes again and just notice how this feels. Breathing deeply. And we can open our eyes. Let's take this to Dandasana or staff pose, which is our basic seated pose, really. Again, we want those sit bones grounded. We want to push out through our heels. Now let's lift through the crown of our head. And I always like to kind of draw the shoulder blades together here and just sit up really tall. We should be feeling those muscles of our chest, our upper back, all of our core kicking in to keep us up. If you ever notice during the day as we sit, we tend to do this. So it's always good to counterbalance by working these muscles to keep us tall. Maybe we'll stand a little bit taller when we're done too. So let's release from here. We're going to take our legs out wide. And let's point our toes to the ceiling. Kind of engage these muscles of our thighs, our top quadricep muscles. Maybe our feet will even come off the floor if we engage them hard enough. And let's just walk down the center. So just noticing where we are here, we always want to take our time with deep stretches, which we're into now. You want to go to where you feel that stretch happen. Give it a few breaths. And maybe you can go a little further. So every couple of breaths as the muscles relax, if we're working on increasing our flexibility, we want to give it a little bit more each time. And let me know if you want some long stretches, long-held stretches in the comments below, because we can certainly look at doing flexibility stretching. Let's lift up, and we're going to bring one foot in. And we're going to do a side stretch now. So push this sit bone into the floor. Let this hand rest on the leg. And we're going to do it this way. We're going to reach for the ceiling, slide this foot toward the leg, toward the foot. So keep inhale, lift, exhale over. At some point you'll get to where you won't get any further, but you still want to inhale, lift, exhale over. And a lot of people like to take their arm over, extra stretch, no problem. But I think you'll find that you get a pretty good bit of stretching right here, especially if you focus on pushing this sit bone into the ground. And you can take your gaze anywhere you want to take it. Straight ahead works. Breathing. We always want to breathe. Let's switch it. So these are just some basic stretches. Inhale, reach for the ceiling. Exhale, slide over. Even when you get to the point where you're not going to slide anymore, keep inhale, lift. Exhale over. Pushing the sit bone into the floor to get that extra opening across your hip. So let's bring this up. We're going to come back to that easy seat, Sukhasana. So we got one leg in front, and what we're going to do is we're going to lift the arm of the opposite hand. Opposite hand reaching up, lengthen our spine nice and tall. I'm going to turn sideways for just a moment. And what we're going to do is twist around and bring our hand to the outside of our leg. Our other hand we're going to have right up next to our bottom, not out here, up next to our bottom, because that's going to keep us lifting up tall. So we want to inhale tall, exhale twist. Inhale tall, exhale twist. See if we can look out over our shoulder, and again, keeping our spine tall. No leaning back, let's lift tall. We should be able to breathe here. I always find it interesting the way my breath feels in a twist, because you're kind of squeezing on all those breathing muscles. Let's unwind from here. Now we're going to switch front feet, and we're going to take it to that other side. So lift up tall, spine long. Let's bring that hand across. Other hand again up at your bottom. Inhale up, exhale twist. And looking out with our shoulder. Staying tall, breathing deeply. Unwind to that, and just whatever's comfortable sitting. We're going to shrug our shoulders back, and let's take our hands back and begin to hold a giant beach ball, just opening up our chest here. So we've stretched just about every part of our legs, we've stretched our sides. Let's open our heart now. Should be able to breathe with all that space. We're going to take it to a deep hip opener pose. So let's come back to Dandasana, or staff pose. And we're going to do what we call a figure four. And we can begin here, hinging forward, feeling that hip, buttock area stretching out. But if you feel like a little more sensation, we can lift up, bend that leg, and then fold forward. Keeping this foot relaxed. Bringing our heart toward that leg. And just feeling that yummy sensation in our hip. And feel free to pause the video and hold a bit longer if you are feeling this one. But let's go ahead and switch when you're ready. And again, we'll start here, relaxed foot, hinging forward, and this may be enough. If we are truly beginners, probably feeling this already. But some of us may want to lift up, bend this leg, and then hug in. So we're all listening to our own body, taking the option that feels best for us right now. And it can be different day to day, different times a day. So just keep that in mind. We let go of any expectations each time we come to our yoga practice. Let's go ahead and release from here, unless you want to pause and hold it longer. And then let's find whatever's comfortable. So we usually end our yoga class with final relaxation, and that is traditionally done on the floor, but we're not going onto our backs on the floor today. We're just going to stay seated. So let's look at a basic meditation posture that you've probably seen in yoga. And that is from our easy seat. We can rest our hands palms down or up. We can even take a mudra, and this one is called jnana mudra, if you wish. So we're just going to take a few moments to meditate and see if we can relax our mind more than our body today. Something a little different for those of you who've been with me a while. And if you want more instruction on these mudras, I've got a link in the description below. I think I'm just going to stick with the regular hands on the knees, but let's lengthen our spine, closing our eyes. And the whole point of the physical or hatha practice of yoga is to get our body to remain still so that we can meditate. So the goal of yoga is meditation. So let's just see if we can quiet our body here, quiet our mind, and let's spend a few seconds, a few moments, seeing if we can not think of anything at all. And just begin to deepen our breath. Wiggle our fingers and toes. And just kind of move whatever way your body's feeling. I've got some links also to some more Shavasana or real final relaxation stuff. A couple of other easier yoga videos for beginners if you want to check those out. I'll even have a playlist, yoga for beginners, some easier yoga, maybe. Definitely more cues like we had in the class today. Let me know if you did like this, if you want more videos like this with more cues. You can always, if you're on a phone, there's a spot where you can click and do comments. If you're on the computer, you can type in comments. Let me know, really let me know what you think so that I can plan what videos that I post here just for you. And again, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Let your friends and family know. It's totally free to subscribe to YouTube. And it would be really nice if I could reach my 1,000 subscribers. So let your friends know that they can subscribe to the channel for free. Please give it a thumbs up if you are subscribed. And again, leave me those comments. Let me know what you think if you want more yoga for beginners. And I will see you next